All right. Here goes chapter 14. Chapter 14 of Double Grape. Drink it now. That's chapter 13 there. Flip to chapter 14. Chapter 14. So chapter 14 of Double Grape, Drink It Now, has this illustration. A little dude carrying a box. Yeah, a little dude carrying a box. He's little, but that's because he's far away. Thomas is another highly honorable PC tech, just like the tens of thousands of others joined in the Republic of Computer Technical Contractors. He, however only entry-level certified, is the chosen letter sender to send a letter by email to one of the two escaped MIC inmates. Such a felonious accomplishment, killing their first target, a government worker with a heavy, non-portable, non-lethal air-hard gun, brandishing their way through a massive, miles-high office building, and finally crashing a hole out of a 500-foot skylight with a federally approved transport chopper, is not to be overlooked. At least not by the RCTC investigative technicians operating in mountain security positions. They abandoned their professional concerns for the time being, granting loads of attention toward Mr. Timothy Zerona, displayed on the South Mountain team's internal television, speaking to Thomas at the foot of the RCTC's first firewall, towering more than 100 yards into the calm air of Moab. "Well, Mr. Zerona," Thomas gently passes his streaming attitude towards his camera-faced demon coworker. "Our camera just got some pulled pork burritos for the cubicle. There's side slaw and salad so we can all pick and choose." The horned young man points his face down at the plastic crate of food in his arms. His orange skin begins to feel a gust of wind from the west, and across shrunken plains into what was Colorado, he can spot thunderclouds in Virga. Behind these, almost 200 miles to the right, there bubble massive haboobs over the southern cities. The first firewall is the very beginning of the RCTC. 8-foot doors open to a small airlock, through which the three travel as Thomas talks. This was originally a warehouse and laboratory for future government tech development. The inside is a former garage and workshop for Herculean vehicles and equipment, as is obviously what the lateral cranes and winches on its ceiling and conveyor belts on its floor are designed for. The commissioners wanted to design huge things, like spacecraft capable of safe and sound re-entry and transport of tactical command centers. The prospective streamer nods at a repurposed version of what Timothy only had a short glance at in the MIC's southeast tower, a big square fuselage with front-sweeping wings, but no rotary cannons. The Desk Cafe. The metallic thing is mounted with a black and white sign, reading just so, and is filled with counters, furniture, and composite flooring for a plethora of workers and members in the organization. When our founders near 20 years ago were financially capable, they began paying in interested amounts the cost of the construction to the builders. Over the course of a short year, they fully owned and operated this place, christening it the first firewall, after the mainly focused component then, a procedurally parallelized method of encrypting access to our almost independent network. That's where system development came in, and that stuff is a little complicated. But it means that we, living and operating at this first firewall, along with other firewalls across the regions, have proximal access to federal and any other type of information, so long as it is managed within operating systems developed by the RCTC and for government use, approved by tri-regional departments such as TRAC. "This man here," Thomas says, before adding, "is just... Franco, let's end the stream. I got a feeling it's not safe for any more crucial secret agent stuff to be on live broadcast." As Franco the demon powers off the streaming headwear, his co-worker resumes. No more stream, let's be cool. The man Thomas introduces Mr. Zerona to is none other than the anonymous tipper who sent mountain security on an unsanctioned wild goose chase to find the tall, unkempt man who activated a deep web browser on average user accounts. The war enthusiast wears his pity, a steam-pressed memory of his position as financial administrator for the Triumvirate Regions Agency for Computing Control. He embezzled the total emergency funds of the fledgling agency, camouflaging it slowly as bonus severance pay for almost 5,000 less scheming detainees falsely recognized in their inboxes as outstanding contributions to the advancement of federal technology and such. His name is Ray Homestar, heralded by people close to him as Thomas with the playful title of the Sun King, after the surprisingly uninteresting story of the Sun Ray. The tall, unkempt manager of Chilled Diet Dog is nowhere to be found near the establishment, so remaining employees and managerially capable staff do without him much more well than without Timothy. Momentarily, the exceptional Canid has taken a short business trip. John doesn't mind. The bus girl walks from the stairwell into the kitchen and up to a heavy box of flexible composite dishes and utensils in a dumbwaiter. As she unloads it all hastily into the steam cleaner, the sous chef, hulking, defined, colorful arms reaching gently toward an oven door from an Adonis of agony, almost literally ripping through musky whites, retrieving by spatula a sauce pie from its preparation, plating it with a helpful squirt of creamy dip. She immediately stops gleaming as the smoke-filled eyeballs turn her way, and gently twists, sporting a tactfully executed posture, the steam cleaner's valve cog. The heat from the machine grows as John clenches his jaw and focuses hardly on his work. The metal file from the engineer at the MIC 5 weeks before now has been a great tool for grooming. It lets his horns fit inside large enough clothing, and claws not readily tear through sheets of plastic. He can once again wear long sleeves and properly handle paperwork, while as interact safely with his own physical body, though he has been managing his state without excessive independence. The bus girl reminds him only microscopically of a certain person from his past whom he treasures still, anyway awakening his dormant desires. He begins the skilled operation of the dumbwaiter once again. The dishes were much heavier than the pizza, but still no grave challenge for this mechanism. The equipment is a metal cord stretched tight along 2 metal pulleys, turning 4 track-mounted chains to raise and lower a 25-inch long segment of repurposed titanium alloy box beam, cut down and used for culinary causes. The cute, plump head chef returns from her short journey by foot to and from her co-manager's apartment, clutching her locket, still in sublime shock at the chillingly distant sight of a pink-striped Ford rotorcraft parked next to the place, and out of it storming 2 troopers carrying lethal-looking rifles. Christoph had some trouble with the law. She shudders at her blatant, honest, and efficient delivery of the news. After watching the poor sick man lower his head like the felling of a poisoned tree in a toxic forest, and resting it sadly on the lining of the patrol vehicle's ports. "You might not be back for quite a long time," she says with her characteristic inability to lose her lovely, charming facial features even in times of despair. Maybe ever. All right, so that definitely is chapter 14 of Double Grape. Drink it now. Yeah, it will do. The last chapter is chapter 15.